Roger, we'll start down with you.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
Is maybe tonight a little reminder that it's still early days for everyone here and the squad?
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, I think that's probably fair to say. I think first half was good. I was happy with that in many ways. I felt we were on top, controlled it, created 2 or 3 very good chances, got into a lot of dangerous situations where we didn't create a chance but should have created more. And you're thinking, okay, then it's very good. Produce a lot of crosses. We're on track. Football, you can't. It's not like Wolves, please roll over. All that. It's the Premier League. It is extremely competitive. So you're going to second half thinking, okay, it's hopefully. I know it's not like just we score. But I think okay, it could be good. I think the big change second half was probably their goal that changed the momentum of the game, and then at halftime they changed to a 5-3-2. So I think that made it more difficult. Not that we didn't know that they could do it, but of course then. How do you get the message across to the players? Of course, we got a little bit about the pressure. Right, and then that goal probably did that we lost a bit of structure and coolness to put more passes together, to get up into the right positions, cross it from the right area, or produce from the right areas instead of put a cross in from your weaker foot from a difficult position or shoot from 30 yards, even that the crowd screams shoot. But I like the effort and mentality, and I think it's huge, actually. And I mean that to get a point on a night when it was not perfect, especially not second half. Now it's the 2 times in a row we managed to come back. I think that tells a lot about the players. And I think, yes, we want free floating. Yes, we want more. We didn't hit our highest performance level today. But then when you're down 90 plus and then get a point, I think that's positive.
I just wonder what you thought of Xavi tonight. It felt like he struggled to get into his rhythm.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think Xavi he had some good actions. Also carrying the ball forward, and you had to foul him 3 or 4 times. But there was all other situations where he was not as sharp. I think that's fair to say. I think he will say the same himself. But I also think it's natural. We're coming into a new team, new league, and find that rhythm quick is difficult. And I also think that we said the other time, I think we're very happy with the Brighton performance in many ways. I think the first half was positive also, offensive. But that free floating to have it enough, that we need to keep working on. And then there are just some days where I don't hit the highest level.
Suffering from not being able to bring on the likes of Dominic Solanke and Randall Kalamoani kind of to change what you've got up front?
I think there was enough offensive actions, but of course it's to have one natural striker. I think Matty can play striker, but he is probably a striker and a winger. So natural striker as Richie and Dom and Kolo would have been nice to have that extra option, but I think we could still have won the game anyway.
Thomas, it was a very nice finish, but did you have any issue with Paulinho celebrating in the corner, taking his shirt off when there was still sort of 2 or 3 minutes left? I mean, I saw Johnson, for example, saying, "Come on, get back, we need to go and win it."
I didn't know I celebrated myself, so but of course I noticed after that I could see he didn't have his shirt on, so I know we wanted to go for the next one, but you can see the next 3 minutes we were a little bit still a little bit disjointed. Should we go for it? Where were the positions? So I think it's fair to say we struggle a little bit with creating that chance. So the 1-1 was probably a good point. Of course, we still lose. It feels like disappointing we didn't win the game, but I think the positive is we kept us in the game and got a point.
Hi Thomas. I know it's early days and you can't read too much into the table, but Liverpool lost today, Chelsea lost today. You could have gone 2 points within Liverpool. Did it feel a bit of a missed opportunity, especially at home to a team that hadn't won so far in the league this season?
Yeah, I think if you look before the game, you would say that there was a good chance for us to win, but I think it's also, that's why I also said it before the game, we haven't beaten Wolves the last 5 times, another 6 times in a row. So, and you know, also a team that have lost the first 5, there's a time where they will get something. And also said before the game they have played very, very even games. So it's never easy. That said, I hoped and believed if we hit a top performance we will win. We didn't hit a top performance. I think we hit an average performance, but you do that sometimes. So yeah, we got a point on a day where not everything worked, and then we move forward.
Yeah, it feels like you've got so much right so far in your reign. Sort of the one bad performance was Bournemouth at home. You played Bentancur or Pally in midfield for that game. It felt like again they didn't bring that much creativity.
Today or?
Well, in the Bournemouth game,
Oh yeah.
Bentancur and Palhinha, and again today at home to a team that you want to break down, didn't feel like you brought enough creativity. Do you think when you look back, you reflect on that, maybe that midfield selection wasn't quite right?
I will always look back at it, but a good old coach told me once that the lineup you picked, you did that for a reason, and you don't know what will happen if you pick the other one. Maybe we've lost 2-0. So I need to go with what I believe in, of course. That's not the same that I'm not watching the game back and not reflecting and not thinking about could we, should we. You never know. I actually think first half was quite good, and we created enough. Would like to create a little bit more, yes. So actually after I took Rodri out, you can say it didn't work because of lots of structure. So who knows? One thing is for sure, that we need to do a little bit better second half.
Hi Thomas.
Hi.
In the second half, fans will get maybe particularly frustrated with some Vicarios kicking and
Yeah.
sometimes maybe taking too long to play forward. How difficult, I guess, is it for players to be as calm and patient as you'd like when there is that maybe impatience in the stands?
No, I think I definitely think it's not easy, and I also think that there will now need to look the situations back. But on top of my head, it looks like we could also help him a bit more in those situations. Open up a bit more, gave him more options, and maybe he could. There was also 1 or 2 who felt that he could have done better. But hey, that's part of it. It's not easy, but that is not the same that he couldn't have done better.
I have one from Matt.
Hello, Thomas. It's sort of a bit of a perennial problem for Spurs not being able to put away games they're widely expected to win at home against teams a little bit like Wolves and maybe to a less point Bournemouth. Do you have a theory? Have you an idea of why that might be, and might it be something that's a mental issue as much as anything else?
I can only really speak about when I've been here, of course, and I think the 2 games you can see that Bournemouth also doing very well. I think they're a very difficult team to play against. The one thing with Bournemouth is that was a bad performance, like all just bad. Today I think there was much more positive in our performance, but unfortunately on the day we couldn't get the 3 points. That happened. So I think it's still a small sample to really judge from myself in that aspect. Yeah.
We'll finish with Tom.
Hi Thomas, just back to your midfield selections. I don't think Xavi Simons has started at number 10 in the Premier League yet.
True.
Is he not quite up to speed with the Premier League yet? Is that why he hasn't played in that position?
No, I don't think. I think it's try to how can I say, get the right balance into the team. Try to for me also to learn the players and find out how we can get the best players on the pitch at the right time. So that I'm of course looking into. I'm very aware that Xavi can play as a 10. He also got in as a 10 against Brighton because that was the 3rd game in a week, and I think that was positive. I think today when he got in as a 10, it didn't really work, and that was not only because of him, by the way. I think it was the whole team that was out of sync, in the last whatever 35 minutes, something like that. But of course, I try to look into what is the best midfield. I think it's fair to say both Rodri and Xiao have been very good for us so far in the season, and Luca's been fantastic. So you like to keep your players as a little bit in flow.
Just one other one on Richie. He showed against Burnley what a quality player he can be on his day, but there have been a few games like tonight where he seemed a little bit isolated. How do you get him more into the game?
I think, for example, at Brighton did many good things, but I liked him a little bit more in the box. I felt today he was more in the box, and the cross maybe didn't landed for him. And then I think it's also fair to say that, especially the first half, we mainly played against a team with 11 players behind the box, which always make it a little bit more difficult. I think actually even Haaland can be eliminated in that situation, but there's a little bit more space and a little bit more opportunities than a little bit more space and a little bit more open, than you can create more opportunities.
Thank you.
Same, guys.